The big focus today is on China's military parade in Tiananmen Square and how it seems to signal that US dominance, is possibly a thing of the past.
Yep, it's pretty mind blowing. The whole event really shows a new era of global power shifting, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it's like a deliberate display of strength, with figures like Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and even Kim Jong un in the mix, and, Narendra Modi making an appearance alongside Putin. The symbolism is almost impossible to ignore.
Right. It's as if they're sending a clear message to the West that alliances are being reconfigured and the traditional US led order is on shaky ground.
Yes, exactly. It's not just about showcasing military might, but also about projecting this unity and vision for a new world order. You really feel that this parade was as much a political statement as it was an exhibition of advanced weaponry.
For sure. And what's interesting is that this wasn't just a routine parade, it's a sort of roadmap into a multipolar future where power isn't centered in one nation anymore.
Right, indeed. It kind of underlines that throat cutting economic policies, like tariffs and sanctions by the US, are not enough anymore. China is capitalizing on fractured alliances and political turbulence in America to assert its own vision.
So you're suggesting that America's superpower status might be more fragile than we used to think?
Yeah, exactly. It's like imagine a giant stage where America used to be the only spotlight. Now, new lights are emerging, and they're brighter and more coordinated, highlighting a multipolar global order.
That's a cool analogy. It's almost as if this parade is a signal, a sort of flag plant, that the era of uncontested US hegemony is, fading away.
Right, and consider this. While the US is grappling with internal issues and international economic pressures, Beijing is placing itself as the hub of an emerging geopolitical framework. It's like they're saying,
Yeah.
we've got our own network now.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just about China. The parade also showcased how nations like Russia and India are, in their own way, asserting independence from American influence.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Russia shows resilience despite sanctions, and India's positioning itself as an independent power, choosing its alliances carefully. It's like each of them is picking their own lane now.
I get that, but don't you think there might be some overstatement in seeing this as the definitive end of US dominance? There's still a lot of complexity in global power dynamics.
Good point, and I wouldn't say it's a clear cut end, but more a paradigm shift. It's like the old dominance is crumbling, while a new multipolar world with different power centers is emerging.
That makes sense. It's more a transition rather than an abrupt overthrow. The parade is rich with symbolism, like the historical reappropriation of Tiananmen Square, which itself is a symbol of power and revolution in China.
Absolutely. And it's not just symbolic. The weapons on display, the formations, the logistics, it all signals a modernized, aggressive military posture. It's like China's saying, we're here to protect our interests and reshape this global order.
Right? And that also feeds into the public perception and the strategic narratives that these nations are pushing. It creates an image of strong, decisive leadership.
Exactly. And the inclusion of leaders like Putin and Kim Jong un only amplifies the message. It's as if they're forming an unspoken alliance, pooling together their respective strategic interests against a common, long standing power.
That's true, though I have to wonder if such an alliance is really as steady as it appears. Historically, these regimes have very different interests.
I know what you mean. There's definitely room for internal friction. But in this context, the parade is sort of a masterstroke in public relations. It temporarily puts common cause in the spotlight.
Right. It's like for that moment, all eyes are on their coordinated narrative, if only to make a point to global audiences.
Yeah, and speaking of narratives, the parade also contests America's narrative. Instead of projecting a liberal democratic image, this event projects a vision of strong national sovereignty and controlled order.
Yeah, the timing is interesting too, especially given the ongoing debates in the US about foreign policy and the reliability of its traditional alliances. It sort of exposes the cracks in the foundation.
Exactly. And when you add in the context of sanctions, tariffs, and even internal political strife in the US, you begin to see how vulnerable the American posture might be in today's multipolar world.
For sure. It's a powerful reminder that military parades aren't just ceremonial, they're strategic communications aimed at both domestic and international audiences.
Right, and the visuals, the synchronized marching, the state of the art hardware on display, are designed to leave no doubt about who's in control and who's stepping up to challenge old orders. It's like a movie scene come to life.
True, and it prompts us to ask, will this really lead to a new global order, or is it just a temporary posturing move by Beijing?
I'd say it's both, actually. It's a calculated move that allows China to stake a claim now while trying to shape future alliances and power structures. It's almost like setting the board for a long chess match.
Yeah, and the chess piece here isn't just military might, it's also about economic clout, technological advances, and strategic narratives that build soft power.
Exactly. And that layered approach is what makes the event so compelling. It's not random, it speaks to deep strategic planning. The
Yeah.
parade is a theatrical display with multiple dimensions of messaging.
I totally agree. It's interesting because while the US has relied on its military and economic might for decades, here we see a coordinated display that harnesses more than just force. It's about unity and shared vision among several nations.
Yes, and even though one could critique the theatrics for potentially being overblown, you can't dismiss the impact it has on global perceptions. It pressures decision makers in Washington to rethink the old playbook.
Right, though I do think there's a risk of misinterpretation. Critics might say that while it sends a signal, it doesn't necessarily translate into tangible strategic advantages overnight.
That's a fair critique. However, symbolism, if harnessed correctly, can shift long standing narratives. It's like planting seeds that may grow into a more substantial realignment over time.
True, and these seeds could eventually lead to a reordering of global alliances and economic spheres. But there's also the risk of escalating tensions further if misread.
Absolutely, and that's the double edged sword here. A powerful parade like this can be both a unifier for like minded nations and a provocateur to those who feel threatened by such shifts.
Yeah, it's not without its risks. There's always the possibility that such bold moves could instigate countermeasures that might destabilize regions further.
Exactly. Yet, given the current geopolitical climate, it seems that these nations are ready to take that risk. They're trying to carve out their space and reaction to an increasingly divided international order.
I guess the outcome will depend on how the US and its allies adapt to this new narrative. Whether they respond with reform or doubling down on old methods remains to be seen.
Right. It's a fascinating period. The parade, by all accounts, isn't just a military show. It's a signal of strategic intent, a redefinition of global power dynamics.
Yeah,
And that's something we'll be keeping a close eye on.
definitely. It's these kinds of shifts that remind us how dynamic and unpredictable international politics can be. I'm excited to see where this all leads.
Yeah, me too. And as these currents of change keep swirling, it's important that we stay informed and critically evaluate all the narratives being spun by the media and the policymakers alike.
Absolutely. Questioning narratives and examining symbols critically will be key in understanding the true direction of our global order.
Well, it's been a lively discussion, digging deep into how a parade in Tiananmen Square might reflect and even reshape the world stage. I'm looking forward to following these developments.
Same here. It's a riveting time for global politics. Thanks for the engaging chat, and let's definitely revisit this conversation as events unfold.